What's up, YouTube? We are back once again with episode 30 of the Super Deformed Gamescast on this fine Thursday evening. We're missing a few guys tonight. Steve is gone, Jeff is gone, JT is gone, but you know what? Fuck those guys. We don't need them anyway. The real crew is here. Everybody who matters is here.
Skeleton cast.
The skeleton crew. We've got the handsomest man in video games, Brandon, is here with us once again as always. Okay. Brandon, I don't think you've ever missed us.
Doc, I'm sorry.
No, not Doc. No, Doc's the second handsomest. Now, I want to point out that Brandon has never missed a single episode.
Goddamn right.
Not a single one. And we have my favorite Brazilian,
I have
Gabe.
no life.
You have no life, but you know what? It's fine. But God bless you for it. I'm okay with it. I'm glad for it. And we have Gabe, my favorite Brazilian, with us tonight. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, guys?
And I want to point out that Gabe, it's really nice to hear Gabe not sounding like some kind of cyborg from the future. Right. You know, I don't know what this little weird dance it just did was. And then we got Doc, who one day is going to appear on camera. I promise. One day he's going to be there.
Yeah, I just need to set up my office, which I need a room for.
Someday. You do. Someday soon, though. Hopefully. And we've got a guest on the podcast tonight. Now, all of us are actually on GAF, and most of our listeners, at least a healthy dose of our listeners, are on GAF as well. And in Sales GAF, if you frequent Sales GAF at all, you probably know who Abdiel is. He's a retail guy, and he provides some very interesting and very measured commentary in the Sales GAF thread. So, Ab, we are very happy to have you with us tonight, man. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I like to contribute whatever I can, and it's been really fun for me to provide the information that I do and get all the analysis and discussion going wherever I can.
All right, so I want to start off real quick before we get into so I know what everybody's thinking, and there was some really big news that dropped this week. And what's on everybody's mind is Sucker Punch making a Spider-Man game? Is that what I mean? I don't know, but that's going to be the topic of discussion tonight. But before we get into that, and only that, Brandon, what have you been playing this week?
Dark Souls and nothing but Dark Souls. I'm so close. I'm so close to the end. All I have to do is beat one optional boss, and then I can go fight the final boss and beat the game.
Well, you know, until you finish New Game Plus, you're not really done.
Yeah, I don't do New Game Plus.
Oh, you're such a sad sack.
Whatever, man. Come on, it's like almost a yearly annual franchise now. Like, I get to play a Souls game every year practically.
I really no. You know what? That's a good point. I really wonder if we're going to see Bloodborne 2 announced at E3. Like I really do legitimately think we might.
Or a Demon Souls remaster. Like there will be something to play next year. I guarantee it.
God, I fucking.
Their yearly release.
I would fucking love a Demon Souls remaster. Yep. I'd be all over that. Yeah, I know Gabe would. And speaking of Gabe, what are you playing this week?
Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, then Dark Souls 1, now back to Dark Souls 3. Yeah.
Hold on. You're playing Dark Souls 1?
Yep.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Now you have not played it. You haven't played this before, right?
Yeah, I did.
I thought this was your first time playing Dark Souls 1. Didn't you tell me that? Who told me that?
I did.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe it was Doc. All right, but we don't give a shit about Doc because Doc has shit opinions on games.
I like what I've played so far.
Well, so Doc, I'm not done asking Gabe. Wait your turn, Doc. Chill. Just relax. I know you're excited because you've been gone for a few weeks and you're back, and we're all very happy to have you back. But just wait. Gabe, I have a very important question to ask you. What new game are you on? What plus are you on? How many pluses?
Well, I'm still on the first playthrough. I'm playing it again on PC.
That's weak sauce.
So I'm not. I don't know why, but Dark Souls 1 is just sucking me in. No other Dark Souls games. I'm playing New Game Plus. I was playing New Game Plus this week, and only I don't know. For the past 2 days, I went back to Dark Souls 3.
You know, I just want to point out that I cleared the final boss of Dark Souls 3 the first try. My wife was sitting here watching me, and the video is going up tonight.
Yeah, I was going
to.
So we can put your solo. Solo.
Right, nice.
Just like I have soloed Pontiff Salivan twice.
I've had to summon.
First shot.
I've had to summon for more help in Dark Souls 3 than Bloodborne or Dark Souls 1.
Dude, have you fought the Nameless King?
That is the optional boss that I have to kill before I can beat the game. Yeah.
That is the only.
So no, I haven't yet.
I'm not afraid to admit that is the only boss I had to summon help for. I couldn't do it on my own.
I had to summon help for the Dancer of the Boreal Valley, because Jesus.
I didn't think the Dancer. No, everybody says the Dancer she's hard as hell. Like I didn't have too much of a problem with her.
I had a big problem with her. Yeah.
But you know what the weird thing is that everybody says the Crystal Sages are easy, and they killed me or they murdered me over and over and over before I finally downed them. So I don't know. Maybe I just need to get good.
Dark Souls 3 has the easiest boss in the entire series, though. The Deacons of Depths or whatever they are.
Wolnir is easier. High Priest Wolnir or High King Wolnir or whatever his name is. You got to attack his bracelets. You got to attack the bracelets on his wrists.
I had a much easier time with the Deacons.
No, dude, Wolnir was much easier.
Wolnir killed me in like 10 seconds the first time I fought him because I ran.
You got killed by Wolnir?
Yeah, I ran right up to him. I didn't know what I was supposed to do, and he vomited all this goop all over me and killed me instantly.
I want to give a shout out to Randall Thor19 in chat, who has the third highest Xbox gamer score in the country. He probably hates all this Dark Souls talk right now. In fact, he's saying that him and Enrique from our friends at Basement Radio Arcade are going to take over the Gamescast and call it the Super Deformed Dark Soulsian Gamescast. Or never mind, that's what we got to change the name to. Maybe we will, dude. Maybe we will.
Whatever, man. We're Flavor of the Week podcast. I mean, Dark Souls will be Flavor of the last month in a couple days. It's cool.
Dark Souls is going to be the flavor of my fucking year. Okay, Doc. Now we can get to you. So I want to know all about what you're playing.
That's the thing. I can't tell you what the thing I've been playing the most is. I'm not allowed to.
Why do you do that? Just don't even say that.
Evil laugh.
You're such an ass.
So I played a little bit of Ratchet and Clank, but beyond that, honestly, I've been doing so much work that I haven't actually had time to play a lot of games, which has really bummed me out. Like I'm sitting here with a copy of Banner Saga 2 on my computer, ready to go, and I want to play it really bad because I played the first game in one sitting, like literally the entire game. I only got up to like eat. And it's just sitting there on my computer. It's a really good RPG, and I can't play it because I'm busy working. But I get to play things this weekend. So yeah, for the past 2 weeks or so, I've basically been dead, bedridden, fighting off ninjas, or not playing games.
Well, I'm just glad you're back with us, dude. You were gone for what, like almost a fucking month? Not on the podcast, not gracing us with your silky chocolate smooth voice.
You guys wanted to do one thing a day early, and I couldn't do it. So I was there the next day, ready to go, and you're like, "Yeah, we already did a podcast. We don't."
Yeah, but you know what? As much as we love you, the podcast waits for no man.
Understood.
Unless you're Shinobi 602, and in that case, we will wait for you, because he has a shitload of Twitter followers, and we love him. But his Twitter followers are not why we love him. We love him because he's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, fuck his Twitter followers.
Yeah, fuck those guys anyway.
I have a little bit of a question about Dark Souls, though, because I did actually sit down and play some of it. And I'm curious, because I played part of Dark Souls, like just the first, hour or so of Dark Souls 3 and the first hour or so of the first Dark Souls. And I killed the Asylum Demon in, like, one shot. But the first boss of Dark Souls 3 is just completely kicking my ass. Is that normal? Are they, like,
well, hold on. Difficulty? By the first boss, you mean Udex Gundyr?
Iudex Gundyr.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy's kicking your ass?
Yo, yeah. Wait, hold on. I'll give you the strategy for Gundyr. He's really tough at a medium range and really easy at a short range. So if you show him too much respect, he will kick your ass because you'll just try to be like dancing around his medium range attacks. But if you just roll right under his legs, he gets all confused and he goes down.
Oh yeah, when I started like treating him like a Bloodborne boss, he did get easier. But by that time I was getting the fatigue issues where it's really hard to play certain games for long periods of time. So I just kind of gave up.
Well, no, I mean, Brandon makes a good point, though. You have to treat him like we treat Gabe. Show him no respect at all. Get right up in his face. Get between his legs if you have to. Just wail on him as hard as you can. Eventually, he'll go down. Gabe, I'm sorry, man. I didn't. But I totally did.
I'm in that part, that place where I'm like obsessed with the aesthetics of these games, and yet I'm not actually having a lot of fun playing them.
I think the fun will come. It took me at least 5 to 10 hours to start having fun with Dark Souls 1 the first time I played it.
It took me about 5 minutes to start having fun with Dark Souls.
Yeah, I mean, you played Demon Souls though. So.
Yeah, I did. Well, Doc, I'll before we move on to Abdul, I'll say if you come up with a way to patch a first-person mode into Dark Souls, I'll check it out.
Yeah,
there is a mod for it already.
You're shitting me.
No.
Well, I play in Plebe Station 4. I'm not a part of the PC mustard race, so I guess I won't be experiencing that. Abdul, so what have you been playing this week, buddy? This is kind of how we start the podcast. We ramble on for about 15 minutes about the shit we've been playing.
Well, I polished off Knights of Azure, and then I picked up. I went way back and polished off Sword Art Online Lost Song, which had been sitting in my backlog for forever since.
Is that the good one or the bad one? Because I've heard there's like a good Sword Art game and a really bad one.
Well, that really depends on what your perspective is, because they're both the PS4 remaster of Hollow Fragment is the one where they actually updated the translation, and so it's actually coherent and does not use the term penetrations a lot, which is the Vita version.
Penetrations.
The Vita version had such a ham-fisted, awful translation.
Well, hold on, Ab, you cannot on this podcast. You cannot use the terms penetrations and fist in the same sentence without getting some kind of comment. I'm warn you, okay?
I certainly can, and I can do so knowingly as well. But no, the combat system is way more in depth in Hollow Fragment. It's got a lot of layers of combos and that sort of thing, but it's definitely shows its roots as a PSP game that was updated to a Vita game and then remastered for the PS4. So,
yikes!
I mean, it's a lot of fun. I put way more time into Hollow Fragment, but it's if you bought Lost Song digitally, you got the remaster for Hollow Fragment free. So that worked out pretty well when you did the pre-order there. But Lost Song uses the same engine as I think one of the Macross games from a while ago. So you switch between ground and flying combat like seamlessly. So it was like 35, 40 hours. It was good. It was fun. I mean, if you like Sword Art Online, it's more time with those characters. So that was fun for me. I really enjoyed that anime and that character and the world. So that was good. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. So it was not like, wow, this is such an amazing, incredible game. Like it's not. I wasn't playing it for that. It's
junk food gaming.
It's a game of fan service for being in that, and not like fan servicey in the hentai sort of fan servicey.
Good old Senran Kagura, yes.
Yeah, I mean you can technically go that way because if you're playing as the female characters, there's definitely some jiggle physics.
Oh, dude, you're speaking Brandon's language.
Hey, I have nothing against the Senran Kagura and fan servicey stuff. I don't care. I mean, especially since I was just talking about Knights of Azure. I mean, literally, that game is side boob the game, which I was like, hey,
side boob the game.
Whatever. That's totally okay. I mean, but the combat in Knights of Azure was awesome. Like I had a blast with that. That was great.
It's a Musou kind of thing, right?
It's not exactly. It's got a feel for that where you're running around in a big open format, and there's different ways of enemies coming at you, but you have combos. You switch between weapons very dynamically as you develop them, but
real-time weapon switching, yeah.
Yeah, so and
back in the PS3 launch days.
Yeah, perish the thought, right? But the final boss in that game kicked my ass for a while until I finally managed to figure out a good strategy for it. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it, and even finished the post-game content for that too. So that's what I finished off. But honestly, my remaining time for this year looks fucking insane. I've got, I think, 14 or 15 games pre-order right now, and I can't even pre-order Persona 5 yet because they haven't put that available for.
Yeah, Persona 5 is a good one. That's a good choice. I can't wait for that. All right, cool, awesome. So thanks everybody for talking about what you're playing this week. I want to kind of dive right into the news real quick, and there's a few small news items we'll talk about later. But I mean, honest to God, the big news, all joking aside, is the confirmation of not just the PS4K, but its actual, I guess, development name, which is the Neo. And that news broke on GAF earlier this week. Well, actually, no. Technically, I got to give credit to Giant Bomb. They broke the news, which is a huge fucking scoop. And releasing all the stats and all the kind of the nitty gritty. And then, of course, it went up on GAF, and GAF fucking imploded into a singularity. And within 30 minutes, there were There had to be 10 threads all talking about the same shit.
Yeah. Yesterday was bad.
And
if you don't care about PS4, yesterday was a bad day to read GAF.
It was, it has been years since I have seen that kind of reaction on GAF, and I kind of want to, there's been a lot of misinformation thrown around and a lot of overreaction happening within the gaming community, specifically the PS4 community, and I kind of want to address that with you guys tonight. And I want to start with someone I really respect, but I think he's way off the mark, is Colin Moriarty. At Kind of Funny Gamescast. I'm a huge fan. I'm a Patreon supporter of theirs, and I agree with almost everything he says, but I can't agree with him on this. So I don't know if you guys heard his huge, 25-minute long rant on his podcast the other day, but I mean he came out so strong against this. I thought he was going to have a stroke. I mean he was mad. He's pissed about this, and he sent out a tweet that said one of his sources, a source that he trusts, has confirmed that developers, the broad development community is very, very pissed off about PS 4.5 or Neo, whatever you want to call it, due to development costs and increased development time and stuff like that. And then, kind of counteracting that, developers on GAF came forward and said, no, and one of them actually said, what absolute bullshit. I think that was Gopher, right, Abdiel?
I think Gopher, Matt.
Gopher and Matt. I know Gopher was one who came out and said, "What a load of bullshit."
Matt said it's not something to be concerned about it. Zotis made a post that said that Sony has been paying close attention to make sure that this stuff will not be a concern. One of the guys from Absinthe Games tweeted back at them to specifically say, "This is bullshit and we're not worried about stuff like that," and his developer friends are also not worried about it. So I've been trying to pay attention in that thread too, that devs are not all on the same page about this.
I think Moriarty's full of shit personally, but
what was that, dude?
I think Moriarty's full of shit personally, but
well, I'm glad you said that, because we've got an actual dev right here. I mean, Doc is a no shit. I mean, he's a games developer. So Doc, what is your take on this?
Well, I mean, I tend to do design stuff instead of programming stuff, and I don't see any developers I know who are upset about this. Most developers I know don't seem to care, though. They're just like, oh yeah, that's neat. So take that as you will. But I don't know. Moriarty's always seemed like basically your average GAF poster to me, so he's getting mad about nothing, and I think he's just kind of trying to trump up his point of view.
I mean, Colin Moriarty is he's like a PlayStation super fan, right? And it's good to it's good to support your console of choice. I mean, whatever, but there's a line. Excuse me. There's a line, and I feel like he's crossing the line from measured response to complete and utter fucking fanboy meltdown, which is, I don't see him do that very often.
That's kind of what it sounds like. I don't follow Kind of Funny, but I have a good idea of how he reacts.
I highly recommend you listen to it, just to hear somebody who is so pissed off about something that they really probably don't need to worry about at all.
It's too early to be that pissed.
It's complete nonsense, I think. I mean, my team is not concerned. I mean, we have no interest in developing for the PlayStation 4, but we're not concerned, at all. We could do it. The requirements seem really nice for developers. It does not seem like it would require hardly any work at all for us to do, comparatively speaking to, developing for a completely different console. I mean, but again, we're PC developers, so, we're developing for a platform that does not have standardized specs, so we don't give a fuck.
Well, isn't that one of the biggest things, is that it's remaining on the core architecture as a requirement? It's not like it's shifting from generational standards. You're not leaving from PS3 to PS4 or from Xbox One to PS4 or something like that. It's still going to share all of the core foundational aspects. It's just a difference of performance standards.
That's my understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why anyone would be reasonably upset about this.
Well, so I
can't understand it personally.
The point
I just don't want to spend $400. That's it.
And that kind of ties into why Colin Moriarty, the reason he's upset is twofold. Like he actually described this as a middle finger to 40 million people who bought the PS4, and I couldn't disagree.
That's too far.
Yeah, I was like, no, dude, come on.
Anytime anyone says like the publisher is not respecting their fans or whatever, you can just immediately start ignoring that person.
Well, I mean, that's kind of why I made a thread yesterday to bring up the perspective from us as retailers.
I saw that. That was great stuff.
When we look at these sort of releases, for us as a retailer, we're looking at this is not a complete changeover. This is represented as a premium product release. This is something where this is a extension of the existing customer base, not a replacement of the existing customer base. For people that wish to step into the bleeding edge technologies, who want to be able to take advantage of this and they're willing to spend more to do so, then this is a way for them to get more out of it. I mean, Brandon, you said you're not willing to spend more money. Well, then that's fine. You shouldn't have to. And as long as you're still going to be receiving the same exact games and still getting the performance that you were expecting to, then this is not a middle finger to you. And everything that we've seen in the release specs states that that's exactly what you should be expecting. That nothing should be changing for you in terms of what you've already invested. So as long as they stick to that, this isn't a middle finger to anyone.
Yeah, I think what it is you have these super mega fanboys of the PlayStation, and they feel they have to buy the next PlayStation. And so
I will, like I'm one of them. Like I will be there on day one. Like it doesn't matter to me. Like I'm gonna buy it because I'm a core gamer and I want the best. But I don't see it as a middle finger to me. And so when you make that kind of statement, like I don't know, like it kind of offends me.
I have to buy one. I mean, like I won't be able to handle when Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 comes out, and if I still have an old PS4, that shit's running at like 20 frames a second. Like I won't be able to handle that, and that's what I'm worried about.
I just think that people there is a group of people who are feeling like 100% obligated to spend $400, and they're upset about that. Like they feel like Sony's like walking into their house and like, give me $400, and it's not. It's an entertainment product. You can buy it or you can not, but I don't think they see it that way. Kind of like certain super Apple fans who get really upset when Apple releases a product earlier than they expected.
Well,
it's a nonsensical response, but...
Well, so here's the other thing. You guys have made the point that this is not a requirement. Like Sony's not saying, your fucking PlayStation 4s are worthless now, right? Something else Colin Moriarty said really, really bothered me, especially since he is usually a pretty measured guy. This one took me by surprise. I was listening to his podcast the other day. I was listening to his rant, and he said what this means is that 40 million people who have the PlayStation 4 now get the shitty versions of the games. And I was like, you mean the ones we have now? Because that's what they are. I don't understand that kind of mentality. Am I going to have the shitty version of Uncharted 4 because that game looks fucking beautiful?
I mean, by comparison, we don't have the PC version of games as it is. The PC version of the games continue to shit on the PS4 versions of games since forever, which, I accepted that when I said I'm not interested in investing into PC hardware. I don't spend that kind of money.
That's the thing. Like, I do invest in both PC hardware and console hardware, and I've always felt like it's been comfortable to do both because I do like to stay on the bleeding edge, and that's what I have my PC for. But sometimes I just want to fucking throw a game in the disc and know I'm getting exactly the same experience as every single other person that is playing the game on my system, and it's not a thing anymore. So like fuck consoles. I'll just stick with my PC because I already upgrade it. The entire reason that I like consoles is pretty much going away, so fuck it. I'll just stick with my PC.
That's kind of where I'm at now. Like, my PlayStation 4 is a Digimon box. That's the only game I'm playing on it right now. I don't see any PlayStation 4 games coming out in the next year that I'm like, I have to buy this. I have to spend money on this. I'm not.
I thought you were waiting for Uncharted 4.
I am actually pretty interested in Uncharted 4 after seeing that open world thing. That looks pretty good, so I will probably buy that.
What? Wow. That's quite a statement from you.
But beyond that, I mean, I don't really see it being like why did I spend $400 for this? Have I really got?
That's how I feel. Like I spent $400 on a GTX 970. Like I'll just fucking spend $400 next year on a GTX 1080. I don't know. Like
I walk through like the electronics store or the GameStop or whatever, and I just kind of look around and see, hey, what came out? What do I want to buy for my PS4? I got nothing. Like there's nothing in a GameStop that I don't already have.
That's not relatable to most people though. Most people who own PS4s have something at least coming up on there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't relate to that perspective at all. Like I said, I've got 15 games alone this year, like just in this year that are confirmed for release, and most of those are JRPGs. I mean, a lot of those are games that may not even have a PC release, because that's the type of stuff that I play. So I'm super jazzed up to see a release calendar that looks the way that it does for me. And
I'd love to see more games that I want to buy on there. It's just that everything that's for sale in the GameStop right now, I have on the PC.
Well, and you know what's funny is that technically we'll always be playing the shitty versions of games because we're not playing them on PC, right?
But that's what I'm talking about for the exclusives, like fucking Final Fantasy VII Remake. On day one, the only system you're gonna be able to play that on is PS4, and I have my PS4. But if I keep this PS4, I'm playing shitty Final Fantasy VII.
That's the worst perspective to have on it. It's context of that, because you were going to have that version of it no matter what. If you just
the entire reason I bought a console is just so I could have a baseline experience with everyone else. Because I already have a PC, and I like my PC for what PC does differently from consoles. But when consoles are turning into fucking PCs, it's just like I'll just stick with my fucking PC except for exclusives.
I was never a PC gamer until recently. I bought a PC strictly to play early access sweet ass indie games, and I'm a console gamer, so I got my PS4 for everything else. And I'm one of those guys who will absolutely be there day one for this.
I've always balanced my gaming between both PC and consoles, and I've never been a fanboy of any one particular thing. I just go whatever has the games that I'm interested in. But like I did appreciate consoles just for having that flat, like straight line experience for every single person that owns it, and that's gone. And like fuck it, like that's what I didn't like about PCs, and now I just have no choice anymore, right?
I will say that I'm actually playing my Xbox One a lot more lately. It's thanks to all the backwards compatibility stuff. Like I'm actually messing around on there more lately. I'm thinking of canceling my PS4 pre-order of Final Fantasy 15 and going with an Xbox pre-order because the demo's basically identical on both platforms.
Yeah.
If my PlayStation 4 had backwards compatibility, I think I would be playing it quite a bit more. I didn't realize that feature was as valuable as it is, but I mean, I literally just I got a paycheck the other day and I actually spent it on Halo Wars, of all things. Cause it's like, cool, I can play Halo Wars on my Xbox, and I had fun with that 5 years ago. I'm gonna play it again. I'm liking my Xbox more and more. It's weird.
If Sony's smart, they'll stick backwards compatibility into the PS4 Neo, whatever they call it.
I don't think it's possible though, because you're gonna need to throw a cell into there to make it work that way.
Yeah, but cell only costs like $15. It's not very expensive.
I don't know. They had to cut out the PS2 out of the PS3 to cut costs. And I'm sure how much did the PS2 chip cost? The Emotion Engine cost to put in a PS3?
Oh, I'm talking more, but I'm not just talking about cost, but I'm also talking about size. Like, because then you also have to make sure that it fits in the silicon to make it work.
Yeah, the launch PS3 was fucking huge.
Oh god, the fat. Oh my lord, dude.
I have one in my closet right behind me. It's fucking monstrous.
I have one. It's like sounds like a Harrier jet whenever I turn it on.
Yeah, dude. When I played The Last of Us on my launch PS3, and it felt like that thing was about to take off and fly through the window.
It heated up my basement when my heater was out, which I thought was just hilarious. But
it's a little terrifying.
So let me ask you guys this, and I'm especially interested to get Abdul's perspective on this. What do you think this thing is going? So one, when do you think it's coming, and two, what do you think it's going to sell?
Okay, I mean, in terms of when, I think that they would be well advised to release it for the holiday season. And I mean, I put that in my thread in a discussion. Cosmic Queso and we traded posts where he put a huge listing of what he saw as challenges, and I responded with my thoughts on that. I think that they would be very well advised to try to release it around the holidays. I think that releasing it after the release of the PSVR would probably be good so that the PSVR can land and have its own splash without fighting for attention on that. That way it's able to really make sure that it can demonstrate itself. That way people can get their product and make sure that they are aware of the PSVR and its own independent statement, and then they can then designate resources to showing off the PS4K, whatever they're going to call it. Not try to make them fight for launch time in the same exact window. Otherwise, they're trying to have two separate product launches literally in the same window. So maybe October and then November, maybe a month apart from each other. A November launch is not a bad time. That's right around Black Friday. Is not necessarily that close, but in terms of what do I think it'll sell, I've continued to state that I do not expect it to be the primary selling point for itself. I think that this allows them to sell to the higher end people that are on that bleeding edge focus, and then that also allows them to position the core model at an even lower price and to allow that to sell even more.
So like Microsoft did with the Xbox 360 arcade and shit like that.
Yeah.
So sell this one to the higher end people that want that more, and then lower the price of the base one and expand that base out even faster, and then maybe even allow them to sell VRs with a bundle with the core model as that focus. People keep saying that they expect this to be the focus for their VR push. I don't think so. I think it gives them better access for people that really want to, sure, but at the same time, their core idea this whole time has been that the VR is designed to work with the core model, and that's why reprojection has been a requirement off of everything. That it always reprojects off of the 60 frames to 120.
And that's kind of a point that I made last night, Ab. Is I was a guest on a podcast, friends of ours, and they had a few guests on as well. And I said, look, I think this is going to cause the OG PS4, for lack of a better term, to sell more. And this one guy says, you're out of your fucking mind, like you're crazy. This is going to kill it. And I was like, dude, no, you don't understand the market. I mean, you know, this machine, and I've argued this before, is that this machine is catering to, just like you guys said, a bleeding edge crowd. It's the enthusiast crowd who needs that new tech and are willing to spend money for it.
Is it enough of an upgrade? That's what I question. If I'm dropping $400 on a new system, is it enough of an upgrade?
From what I can tell, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well, but put it this way. I mean, Brandon, I would. What I'm planning on doing is trading in mine, and I'm not going to drop $400.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
I can almost guarantee that we will be pushing some kind of existing trade-in offers. Right now, the standard trade-in value for an existing system is $200. I can almost guarantee that those trade-in values will remain around the same, if not more, as an encouragement for these kinds of new product launches.
And that's what I hope for, and that's what I expect.
And
that
so,
would be the only thing
$200 as a trade-off to get going up. What isn't it basically going from 1.84 to 4.12?
Yeah.
Teraflops?
Those teraflops. Nobody flops.
More than doubling the teraflops on the system there for only $200, I can totally eat that, considering I've had how much time with my existing PS4 and being able to do that kind of an upgrade. I'm totally comfortable with that. If it's, that's totally reasonable to me. Not if it were just me having to eat $400 with no option, that would be rough, because I would be just eating a new system with my existing one being just nothing. But with the ability to roll this one forward and trade up, that's totally reasonable to me.
I wanna give a shout out real quick to Will Krivicus in chat. He's been with us before. He's a fan of the podcast. Appreciate him being here. He says that he imagines the PS4K is $499 to $599. No way, dude. I don't agree.
We've seen have said $399.
Yeah, I just
says $399, and I've seen nothing that leads any reason for us to see a significant jump that high.
If I can get $399 with the 200 trade-in, I think I'd be okay.
I would too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I mean, the primary reason for this is basically for 4K stuff. It's Sony trying to push those 4K TVs.
Yeah.
I'm not really convinced yet that I need one.
Hell no.
No, of course not. No, dude, you're not. I mean, what? You mean like a 4K TV?
That's what Sony's trying to do. They're basically, the restrictions essentially are the biggest reason that they're doing this is for those 4K TVs. That's what I'm seeing. And
okay, I can see that.
Sony is a TV company. They've always been a TV company. I think that's what they're. I think that's what they're trying to push. Is they want people to start buying 4K TVs, and I think this fall we're going to see some discounts on 4K TVs that are going to. It'll be somebody's push.
We're already seeing discounts on 4K TVs.
Well, yeah, I just mean like I think there's going to be a bigger push, but you know.
Well, 4K adoption is something that we definitely want. I mean, one of the things that I said in my retail thread that when Queso and I were discussing back and forth is that I would not be surprised if when we launch it, if in the Best Buy stores, they've got the Magnolia sections, which are for the really high-end customers. If we saw like pallets being set during the holiday spread of things like this as a attachment idea, where they're like, hey, you're going for this really high-end TV, you're looking for this. Well, rather than trying to just go for a 4K player, why not get a PS4K that plays this but also has game capacity to be able to play for something like this? This is not just an attachment. This is a complete your home theater setup with the ultimate game system for your home theater setup that way. Like enabling the stores to really capsulate on that. I mean, it's new hardware that builds into that evolving format forward. It's not just Sony capitalizing on it. I mean, this is something that is good for the retailers too. It's something that allows for the entire market to continue evolving forward.
Well, barring all the doom and gloom on GAF aside, and we'll get to that in a minute, but like apparently GameStop is very, very enthused about this. Like they're thrilled.
Yeah, no shit. Of course, GameStop.
They're like, fuck yeah, this thing's gonna sell.
This is the best news they've heard all year. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay, this is something. Let's be very clear up front. Retailers make no fucking profit on the hardware itself. Guess how much the employee discount is on game hardware?
Ooh, tell me.
Nothing.
Ooh, that sucks.
You get no discount on any game hardware.
Really?
And the reason for it is because employee discounts are based off of what the store makes off of the hardware, off of the product itself.
The margins.
So you make no margin on the hardware. For things like the protection plans and stuff, you make massive discounts off it. You basically get them almost for free if you want a protection plan or something like that. But in terms of the cost of the hardware itself, the store doesn't make any money. They're looking for what they can attach to it. Games and stuff like that, like the Best Buy Gamers Club Unlocked is a better deal than the employee discount. They're selling it at a bigger discount.
Hilarious.
It is. It's really hilarious that it's the 20% discount that you get on games is better than the employee discount that Best Buy employees get.
Hey, I want to point out real quick that Enrique from Basement Radio, our arcade podcast, has joined us. He's a good friend of the podcast, and I wanted to bring him on tonight just because, or simply, well, not simply, but one because he was kind enough to let me guest host, or not guest host, but make a guest appearance and kind of hawk the Super Deformed Gamescast a little bit, and I want him to be able to do the same. So, Enrique, we're glad you're here with us, man.
Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for having me on, John. I'm a big fan of the podcast, so excited to be on tonight and talk games with you guys.
So. So what I wanted to say real quick is kind of expanding on my earlier thought is when this thing releases, like I was saying earlier, the mass market, like the mass market, like the big crowd of gamers. I mean, they're primarily casual gamers, right? Like we comprise the core as a much smaller slice of the pie. That is not who. I mean, obviously we've talked about this. That is not who the PS4 Neo. I hope they change that name. Is marketed to, right?
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear what they're going to call it.
Yeah, me too. But what I think is going to happen is when this thing goes down in price. I'm talking about the OG PS4. When that thing gets a price cut to $299 or $250 or whatever it's going to be, the mass market doesn't give two shits about pretty graphics. They want affordability. They want to be able to pay the least amount of money possible for a good product. And And $299 is the magic number. And honestly, like when this thing hits, we're gonna care about it as the core audience. But the mass market, they're not gonna give two shits. They're gonna see a $299 PlayStation 4. They're gonna be like, whatever, I want it.
I mean, like look back to the PS2 and Xbox days. Like Xbox had the graphics, but PS2 had the games and the sales.
Everyone I know back then who bought a PS2 did it because of the library.
Absolutely.
I don't know a single person. It was funny because it was like the only game anyone ever wanted to play was Grand Theft Auto 3. But they're like, it has so many games. It's like, do you ever play any of those games? It's like, no, we're gonna play Grand Theft Auto. That was. But they like the idea of a large library, even if they never used it.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think? And since Enrique just joined us, I'll start with him. What do you guys think that this will do to? I mean, do you think that this will drive sales of the OG PlayStation 4 up?
Yeah, I think so. $299 is that sweet spot, like you said, for a lot of the casual base, and so I think this is going to be, a win-win for Sony because price of the OG PlayStation 4 is going to go down. You're going to see more casual consumers buying it, and then you're going to see some of that core audience that may want that 4K experience who bought PlayStation 4s. They're going to buy into this, and you're going to see this thing sell well. And so I think it's just overall it's just a win-win for Sony. So I think it's a smart move on their part. I don't, with 4K TVs and those are coming down in price, it makes sense to me. So.
All right. What about the rest of you guys? What do you think?
Price drops always seem to boost sales, except for the GameCube.
Yeah, man, fucking GameCube. That thing was going for like $50.
Savage as shit. But
I bought one just for RE4 and Remake.
Do you guys think with a more powerful PlayStation 4 on the market at $399, do you think that will actually drive up sales of the vanilla PS4 at a lower price?
Oh yeah, I mean, actually, you know, it's funny. Steve Youngsblood, one of the mods, he made a post in one of the threads that kind of made me chuckle, which was the more concern that people start making and the more attention that people give to the new model, and the more necessity that people put on it, the more likely that it is to continue driving sales and adoption rate for it, because it's going to build a sense of necessity around it. It's going to make it seem like it's more of a requirement for the audience and make it seem more aware. It's going to drive that awareness of that product. I think that, again, as soon as it releases, that Sony's just going to be like, yes, we're making this here, and we're making the other one more accessible. And that is, from my retail perspective, that is the most intelligent thing that they could possibly do, especially with them trying to drive their VR headset.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned that, Ab, because I know a few people who are in the know as to what Sony may or may not be doing with this, and from what I've heard from several people is that, I don't know what it is, but Sony apparently has a very, very smart way they plan on going about marketing this, although I don't know what that is. But I want to throw it out to the rest of the panel and see, like, Brandon and Gabe and Doc, what do you guys expect to see happen to PS4 sales for the older, less expensive model?
I really think if it's less expensive, it's going to do better.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about in relation to we know it's going to sell more than the PS4 Neo. Do you think it will cause the actual PS4 sales themselves to increase year over year?
It would not surprise me at all.
Okay.
I don't really want to commit to either way, but if it happened, I'd just be like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. I don't really have an opinion. I'm not big into speculation on sales.
Gabe, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm with Brandon. I'm not really fond of trying to speculate. So.
Join the sales gaff dark side.
You gotta get on sales gaff, man. I'm addicted.
I get on gaff to talk about games, man. I feel like I'm the only fucking person.
Although
I've never heard of sales gaff.
Sales gaff, dude. You gotta get on Neo gaff, man. There's a thread,
the good old days of Aquamarine or no?
Yeah, Aquamarine, and she came back as like NPD Mulcair for a little while. I guess she got found out though and got banned again.
That sucks.
And I'll be back on gaff in a couple weeks after my ban is up. My first ever ban. Woo!
I got 3 and counting. So
I went fucking.
up, buddy.
I went fucking nuclear on some dude the other day. I just haven't.
I'll have to check your post history later.
It was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. I basically called him a piece of fucking trash. But
that'll do it. That'll do it.
Send it to me. I want to see it.
No, I literally, as soon as I hit click, I was one of those things where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get banned. But I was like, I will definitely get banned for that. But so I want to kind of segue into it. So with the PS4, and we've established that we personally think that the PS4 Neo will sell well to the hardcore crowd, and it seems like pretty much generally the entire panel seems to think that this will drive PS4 sales up. Does Microsoft have to respond to this, and how?
I'm going to say no. They don't have to.
They don't have to.
Microsoft's doing their own thing right now. They're trying to get away from dedicated hardware and go straight into just the UWP.
I think that they probably don't have to. I think that they're going to anyway because they're just diversifying their own blend of hardware and software, just feeling out where the market will accept them. But I just don't really know where that will take them. I mean, we have such a mess of bundles at this point. It's just kind of depressing.
I will. You know what? I will never understand that Tomb Raider bundle.
Dude, I don't even understand the fucking Division bundle, or
the Division bundle is the biggest Xbox bundle there is, though, isn't it? Like in terms of sales.
No. It sold less than 40,000 of them last month.
Ouch.
Like,
wow.
It was a fucking waste. Just another thing on our... like, if you check the Best Buy website, last month there was 12 different new, not refurbished or anything, 12 different options for Xbox One.
That is ridiculous.
It's redonkulous.
Yeah. I could see like 2 or 3.
No, 12.
Yeah,
12 different new ones.
That's insane.
It's a lot of bundles.
And that's the thing, is that most of them have inventory available in the warehouses.
Yeah, I was going to say, it reminds me of the days of like Guitar Hero and Rock Band when you would just walk into Best Buy and you would just see fucking massive boxes of Guitar Hero, like, that's all they had.
You know, our friend Rand in chat, I hope he's still there, but he would agree 100%. I know he would because I've heard him say it, is that Microsoft's messaging has just been so muddled and ridiculous this gen, and you know, I really wonder if I'm of the opinion that Microsoft, if the PS4 Neo is a significant jump over the PS4, in any respect, the PS4 is I would say probably 25% more powerful than the Xbox One.
In terms of pure specs, it's around a 30% power difference.
I'm talking like the OG PS4.
Yep. It's roughly a 30% difference between.
So if the PS4 Neo is that much more powerful than the Xbox One, they have to do something, right? Because at this point, when the NX comes out, the NX is going to be comparable to the PS4 Neo, from what I'm hearing, or at the very least the PS4. So Xbox will be last in the crowd at this point, and they've got to do something, right? Like, I refuse to believe that they're not looking at their own fucking upgrades or iterative consoles or whatever. Like, they have to be doing this, right?
I'm sure Microsoft. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I'm sure Microsoft would love to get away from the PR nightmare of fucking 1080 PR and all this like resolution comparison bullshit. They just want to be on the same level just to get all that fucking behind them.
I don't see Microsoft employing the same astroturfing firm that Sony has, though. Just plain and simple. But that's a different ballgame. Anyways, I have a 3,000-word article going up on Microsoft's problems here on PC World soon, so that'll be fun.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's sort of like I gotta go respond to my editor really quick, but it should be pretty good. He really liked it. So it's about how Microsoft has failed on messaging, how Microsoft's branding is like all over the place, super confusing, bunch of stuff. But it is very PC centric as a piece because it has to do with like their Xbox app ecosystem. They have I think 5 Xbox apps on the PC right now. For no reason at all.
Oh, wow.
Well, I hate to interject this here, but you as a PC-centric person, what's your perspective in terms of how this with them interfacing now their exclusives with Quantum Break has been a mess.
It's bad. I was trying to play it the other day, and it takes over a week to actually get a code for the game that you pre-ordered. The only way to pre-order the PC game was to buy it on the Xbox. It takes over a week to get the copy you actually want to play, and when you do, you can't even do basic feature tweaking. I get headaches when I'm playing on really bad FOVs. The game has a bad FOV. I can't use my widescreen fixture to fix it.
Yeah, fuck that.
Well, and that's the thing is, I'm here in store, and the game's not selling very well. It's been dead since launch. It had its Remedy loyal that picked it up, and it had it had a big, I guess people were saying it had advertising, and had a dedicated bundle for it that was white, and almost every single person that picked up the bundle was trading in an existing system to pick up the white bundle. Almost no new customers. And that's the thing is, I'm I don't know many people picking up the PC version, and I have to ask, it's where is this messaging in terms of that?
Microsoft is really weird. They have not really put together sort of a strong here's why you have to buy an Xbox.
Not at all. They haven't put it.
Last gen, it was I need my Gears, I need my Halo, and there was a bunch of Gears and Halo to buy. I needed Alan Wake. I needed Red Dead Redemption.
Well, even the marketing for Halo 5 was completely misleading. I talked to people who played it, and they said, all that shit about Master Chief versus Locke, that wasn't in the game.
It's you have only 3 missions where you play as Master Chief, and one of them is just a walking mission. It's really big.
I know quite a few people that were very disappointed with Halo. They were like, "Oh, and I can't play with my kids." And
there's no couch co-op.
Yep, they're like, "No, I can't play with my kids," so that fucking ruined Halo for me.
Did anybody see the piece that I did for Kotaku on that? Because I wrote a pretty scathing.
I actually did read it. Yep.
Deconstruction of what they were doing. For me, they made this Halo that's you're not a hero, and so nobody wants that. Nobody feels that is essential.
Yeah, that's not Halo to me.
When you want to play Master Chief, you want to play this super badass who's heroic. And even one of the difficulties is called heroic. The next difficulty is called legendary, and Halo 5's you're a walking embodiment of a war crime. You are garbage. And it's I don't want to be that. That's not the fantasy that I want when I buy a Halo game.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I want to give a shout out real quick to my lovely wife who's out of town and watching this right now. So,
aww.
Hey baby. Yeah, brownie points. Anyway, keep going.
So, when I look at whenever Microsoft is marketing stuff, I'm not seeing games that are making me go, I need this console. Now, granted, I'm not seeing that on the PlayStation 4 that much either.
Well, what you were saying is your most exciting part of your console right now is the fact that you're playing last generation.
Yeah.
And, for me, I don't care about my PS3. My PS3 has not been turned on in 8 months. It is right next to my PS4. It is right there. If I wanted anything, it's there. The reason I don't turn it on is because I really don't like using a DualShock 3, and I'm too lazy to activate a DualShock 4 on my PS3. It will work. I could.
You can do that?
But I'm too lazy to do it.
Well, and you know what? That is the problem I had, because I went back earlier this year and I played South Park: The Stick of Truth. I never played it, right? And everybody was like, "You have to play The Stick of Truth." I can't believe you haven't played this game. And I went back and I played it. It was great. I loved it, right? But the whole time, I had this nagging feeling in the back of my head that I was like, I don't want to be playing my PS3.
Yeah.
I don't want to be playing my PS3. I'm taking one step back, and I just don't want to be doing this. And so,
my friend would absolutely kill someone at EA to make them release the Mass Effect games as a remaster on his PS4. He's like, who do I have to kill or blow to get them to release a remaster?
Because the PC versions of those kind of suck.
He doesn't even care. He doesn't want to get a. He had his.
No,
computer...
like I'm saying, it would be nice to get the remaster because even the PC option is pretty poor. It's a pretty poor.
For some reason, BioWare has no controller support on the PC. It's weird.
Oh, wow, really? Okay.
Yeah, BioWare's really bad at their port. The FOV is really bad too, so I get headaches from playing. And these mods to make it work.
The best way to play Mass Effect was just on the console.
I picked up my first experience with Mass Effect was I bought the trilogy set on my PS3 and I played through it right there. That was my first experience. And he's like, I would really like to just buy all of them and play them on the better system here and not have to go back and replay them.
Yeah, that's just EA and Ubisoft just not doing remasters at all.
You know, I kind of got an interesting thought in my head just now. Kind of going back to PS4 Neo, and again, I hate fucking saying that name. It's such a stupid name.
It's pretty fucking dumb.
It is. So, do you think this thing is going to keep the same chassis as the PS4?
No.
No?
No.
You think it's going to physically look different?
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's gonna have the same design language though.
Do you think it'll be like? Do you think it'll market as like the PS4 Slim?
Well,
honestly, I would not be surprised if they use the term PS4K because that is brilliant. In
It is
terms
kinda
of
cool.
marketing, PS4K is perfection for simplicity,
Yeah.
differentiation,
You're
and
right.
marketing. It is everything that they could possibly use for all of those things. It hits all the perfect marketing. It gets the new aspects across. It gets the cool factor across. It shows people what it's trying to get the whole 4K aspect across.
Yeah.
It hits all those notes. So if they don't use that, I'm going to want to punch their marketing.
They're not going
Yeah,
to use it, but
That's exactly why they won't use it. Yeah, it'll
Well,
be the
then I'll have to
PS4
find their marketing firm. They'll be like, hey, what's this letter? And then a fist.
No, but he's right. I agree with him. Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, it's so simplistic, and you throw a gold K in there, it's money.
Ooh.
A gold case? Yeah. Or, yeah,
No,
I
gold
can
K.
see that. Oh,
Gold
gold
K.
K. I think you said a gold case, like a gold-colored case. I was like,
Oh, throw it a gold case too.
Yeah, well, not real gold, obviously. But
No, not real gold,
If
but
you make the boxes gold instead of blue,
Yeah.
not the game cases. Leave the game cases blue, but add a gold K to them somewhere, then that's perfect. Because again, I had this conversation in my thread, is that you do not want to make the game cases physically different and add a bunch of extra shit all over them because it makes them noisier, and people hate having all that. What was it? The game case for Arkham City or whatever that people.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Yeah.
We don't need more of
10
that.
out of 10 the game.
well,
You don't need any more of that. Having the game cases, the language and all that be simple, but having something just like adding the PS4K, something somewhere on there, but simple so it's identifiable with like the in there somewhere, but identifiable. If you have like the big like gold K on there as just an easy identifier, that would again
That's gonna be
super
swag.
easy identifier. That would be like speaking to all of these points, and that's why I really hope that they do something that easy. Like a big gold K would just make it really easy, and if
That'd
they
be
make
money
the
in the
boxes
bank.
gold, it means that in the holiday season you have your gold case of pallets. I mean, right there, nobody's grabbing the wrong one. Everyone knows that this is this model. They have the standard model in their blue and whatever bundle over there identified with that price, and then you have the gold box over here with the higher price identifying that. It makes it super easy.
I'm hoping at the very least they change the eject power buttons.
Well,
To not be like pressure sensitive plates, those suck.
Well, they're big on the new models. The new models are a physical button.
No, the problem isn't that they're a physical button. It's they're freaking tiny, and I always forget which one is which.
Oh,
I do too.
I eject my disc trying to turn it on. Yeah.
So
I just use the button on my controller.
I usually have the controller plugged into charge, so it's usually as easy to hit the power button on the PS4 as it is on the controller.
Mine's all the way across the room. I can't do that.
Oh, I charge my phone and my controller on the same cord, so.
So I have another question for you guys. If this thing comes out this fall, like it seems to be the general consensus that we'll probably see it this fall. What do you think that does to PSVR sales? Because for example, I was playing on PSVR until I found out about this, and I know for a fact that my wife is only going to let me one. And for me, it's PS4K all the way. Like, there's no question. Like, that's not even a question to me. So, do you guys think that Sony runs the risk of dampening enthusiasm for PSVR or maybe cannibalizing sales? Or releasing it in the same window?
No. Just a flat no.
I think more people are going to be excited by the potential of the new console, and so Sony may... If Sony really wants to launch PSVR, if they really want to go all in on that, I think we're going to see that staggered release of like the fall for PSVR and next spring for the new console, but at the same time, I feel like more people will want to buy the console than VR. I think VR is niche. After playing it to GDC and stuff, I don't see a future being that bright for VR. But
it's funny because you say that, and I tried VR at. I went to PSX. I was part of the NeoGAF meetup there, and Riggs and Eve Valkyrie fucking sold me on that. Like,
I've heard a lot of good things about Riggs.
Oh, it was phenomenal. Like, it blew me away. I just could not have. I could talk your ear off about those two.
How was Res Infinite?
I haven't tried it, so I can't tell you.
I don't even think
Res Infinite wasn't even announced yet.
Yeah, I don't think it was even a GDC.
Yeah, I think Res Infinite wasn't that shown later after PSX? No,
I believe it was later.
Yeah.
So, I think maybe it was. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's really cool. Like, I've played some VR stuff I liked. Like, Bullet Train is the greatest thing in existence, but I just don't like. I feel like it's gonna be like 3D, where it's like, well, Avatar is really fun to watch. Transformers 3 was great in 3D, but most movies aren't, and most people are not buying 3D TVs, and I just kind of feel like.
Dude, Transformers 3 wasn't good on anything.
It was fun in 3D. I enjoyed it in 3D, but only because that wingsuit sequence was incredible in 3D.
Watching Transformers 3 was like being tied to a chair made out of angry badgers. And having somebody
about World War Z,
and having somebody put a helmet on your head and filling it with bees.
Oh my God!
That was
not the bees.
Not the Wicker Man.
Watching Transformers 3 was like being Nick Cage in The Wicker Man. That's exactly what. If you want to like, and I imagine like that is the ultimate Transformers 3 VR experience, is turning into Nick Cage.
Well, I'm not a horror person. Like, horror games and stuff, I don't care. But I also got to try the kitchen demo.
Ooh, tell me about it.
Well, you literally are tied to a chair. Like, they have you sitting in a chair and you're holding the controller, so it looks like your hands are zip tied together. And I tend to ignore horror effects. Like, I don't react to jump scares. And afterwards, I looked at the guy and was like, that was really visceral and really intense. Like, so they did a damn good job. I know my roommate would have been screaming like a little bitch.
Oh my gosh!
That's the one compare that to Saul.
Yeah,
that's the one where you actually get killed, right?
I'm not saying a word. I'm not.
I remember hearing someone that said like you get stabbed with a knife.
You literally get stabbed at one point, and I jerked. Like, I had my leg twitched when you get stabbed. It's right above your knee. You get.
Oh my gosh!
So have you guys seen the videos of the reactions to that Paranormal Activity, the game for VR, for PSVR?
No.
No.
So apparently there's this Paranormal Activity experience. You put the VR headset on, and they film people, like, not for the helmet, but like people were just walking through the show floor, filming people's reactions to this, and people were ripping the helmet off and throwing it on the ground and storming away and saying, "I'm never doing this again. Fuck VR. This is too much. I can't handle it." And I am a huge horror game guy.
I need to try that. Yeah, because games don't scare me. So I played PT and I thought it was boring.
Not to interrupt or anything, but I gotta go for work. So.
All right, man.
I'll see you next week. Hopefully, no limitations on my time next time.
Well, you're a busy man. We understand that, but we appreciate you as always, bud.
I'm excited to try horror in VR because I played PT and I just thought it was boring. I was like.
See, I can't do horror in games. I get scared. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm chicken shit to that stuff.
I love it, dude. I love it. PT scared the shit out of me, and I know Brandon's made out of fucking iron. Nothing scares him.
I guess, man. I don't know. I don't know how, after what we've been through, how you can be scared by a video game.
Well, I know that.
That's true. That's a good point.
The person that was the handler for where I was standing, he was like, someone had torn the headset off, screaming. And I looked at them and I was like, man, that was pretty intense. I can see where that would scare people. But I write, so for me, I tend to, when I'm watching something that's horror based, my brain kind of instinctively just disconnects from it and I analyze it objectively. But that's me. I know my roommate. I was like, man, he would have been screaming like a little girl. I know him. He would have been literally going, oh my god. He played Outlast and he was freaking out.
Oh, Outlast and VR, dude, fucking get out. Forget it. That would be amazing.
Green VR dicks.
Oh, dude, yeah, big floppy green VR dicks right in your face. That's the most terrifying. That's the most terrifying thing about that game. Although, no, you know, I've said it before on this podcast, and I'll say it again. The most terrifying thing about VR is when you play with your friends, you know somebody's going to be dangling their nuts in front of your face. You know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to be like sticking their asshole right up your nose.
Put a VR headset on in the barracks, man.
Oh, dude, can you imagine that? Marine Corps barracks, dude, putting that VR headset on?
Never.
People be like, dude, you take that thing off, you'll have 5 dicks in front of your face. I guarantee it.
Never.
I guarantee it. There's gonna be a set of hairy nuts right in front of your face.
That is terrible.
Dude, Marines like Lance Coolies and PFCs, dude, they have no fucking mercy. No mercy, dude. Brandon knows what I'm talking about. It's awesome. So, we have been on nothing but PS4 Neo for almost the entire night. And so I kind of want to change gears real quick to kind of close it out and talk about a few other very minor news stories.
Hey, Horizon got delayed.
Horizon did get delayed. Well, so
going to get delayed.
So yeah, we don't know that it's been delayed yet, but Shinobi's never let us down. And so it's
like everyone was predicting this for like a year.
I'm not really surprised. I'm definitely disappointed, but
I am surprised. I thought that was a lock.
I'm not surprised at all.
No, I mean honestly, I'm totally okay with letting them take their time. Make the game.
Yeah, so am I. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But
like that game looks incredible, and the fact like when I found out that they hired the writer for the Bloody Baron quests from Witcher 3 to be one of the quest writers, I was like, that is fantastic, because that quest chain was amazing writing. Some of the most incredible writing I've seen in gaming. Like, I started out expecting to think that guy was just the biggest d-bag, and seeing how complex he makes like the whole situation becomes, I was like, bring that depth, the detail and the complexity to that world.
And robot dinosaurs,
world incredible.
And that's something.
The Witcher 3's world just didn't appeal to me. So if they can get like the Witcher 3 quality in a world that I find more appealing, I'm all about it.
I'm sold. Yeah. Well, you know, honestly, like it's one of those things where I figured that Sony would try to get that after the holidays, because I don't think they want to go another holiday season without a big AAA exclusive. But maybe that's what PS4 Neo is all about. Like maybe that's going to be their big deal this holiday, along with VR. I mean, who knows? But
and some more bundles.
Yeah, you know, I mean, shit, dude.
Fucking 16 bundles in December. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens on Black Friday with VR and the Neo if it releases. But the other thing I wanted to mention is anybody here still playing The Division?
Yeah.
The what?
No.
Yeah. So, what was that? Gabe, did you say something?
No, I'm just joking.
Oh, okay. Gabe, don't ever joke.
No. You know
I can't take it when I can't take it when you joke, Gabe. So the Division is, I don't want to say it's in a lot of trouble, but I mean it's having a rough couple of weeks. So as everybody knows, the Division has been riddled with glitches and exploits and bugs, and there have been some really ridiculous ones that have popped up over the past couple of weeks, and a few of them here, and this is from IGN. One of them is the double revive glitch, which allows players to revive a down teammate and then continue holding the interact button in order to stock an extra life for the next time their buddy goes down. And then there's another one called the weapon talent glitch, which lets you stack talent bonuses of weapons and in so doing deal out one-hit kills in the Dark Zone, which is why the Dark Zone is fucking depopulated right now. And then there are two of them in the Falcon Lost Incursion. One of them allows you to just walk around the outside of the arena and shoot at the APC without having to go inside of the area at all. But the other one, the other glitch involves actually turning the enemy NPCs on the boss and just having them kill them while you stand there and do jumping jacks. Like I mean, what the fuck is happening with this game?
I call this shit, man.
This thing's falling apart.
Months ago, I was saying, like, I know exactly what's going to happen with the Division. The level 1 to 30 experience is going to be great. It's going to sell a shitload of copies. People are going to love it for the first 2 weeks, and then they're going to fuck up the Dark Zone. They fucked up the Dark Zone. It's Diablo 3 all over again. Like, they it's a good... Well, actually, Diablo 3 had fucked up loot. So, I mean, it's just, they fucked up the end game, and people are going to hate it.
And it's apparently not only are people dishing out and apparently the Dark Zone is fucking. It's a ghost town now because people are just running around capping
It was a
out
ghost town.
kills.
It was a ghost town on the first week I was playing the game.
I was gonna say that too. No one
Yeah.
ever really went to the Dark Zone.
Nobody ever went to the Dark Zone ever.
Yeah.
Because the penalty for going rogue was way too fucking high. Like it was way too high. It
was.
When I got to level, I was at level 30, and I went to the Dark Zone just to pop the trophy for getting out extracting a purple item or whatever, and I got the purple item. I went to the extraction zone. I started it, and I just shot AI soldiers until the helicopter came, and I never saw a single person even attempt to come and stop me.
And that's all you do. I mean,
that was the first week the game came out.
Yeah, it's funny because I've got 120 hours or something in the game, and me and a group of friends, we've got quite a few times where we've gone like full manhunts on us, killing other players and chasing each other around, and
that's how it was when we were playing in the beta. But that just was not my experience in the final game.
Well, I mean, and that was just like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, before Dark Souls came out. I mean, my group of players basically all dried up immediately as soon as Dark Souls came out because they were like, bye, and Dark Souls.
Yep, that's exactly what I did.
And it consumed them. I mean, that's basically what. But I popped in every now and then. But since I'm not really into Dark Souls, I went back to my other games. But
the Division has got to, or Ubisoft has to do something with the Division on several levels. One, I mean, they've got to get these fucking exploits under control. 'Cause I mean, they sound hilarious, but I mean, when I hear about this stuff, like, I don't want to go in there and play that.
Yeah, no. It's funny when it's Assassin's Creed and people's faces are disappearing in a single-player game. It's not funny in a PvP-based game where people are getting massive advantages. Like.
Well, and now because of the Falcon Lost exploits, you've got people running around with like the best gear in the game, and as Ubisoft rushes to try to catch up and patch all this stuff, you've got one subset of players who are so much more powerful than the others, and when these two guys meet up.
That reminds me of the dark days of Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah.
After all the Game Shark glitching that happened in that game.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
A fucking disaster.
Well, and here's the other problem with the Division is they marketed Falcon Lost or as this thing that was going to take teamwork and you're going to have to, there was going to be multiple things you had to do inside of it. It was going to be an answer to Destiny's strikes and raids. It was going to be an answer to Destiny's raids.
It's really just a big room.
It's one big room. It is one big room with 15 waves of enemies. It's a horde mode.
Yeah, it's horde mode.
That's terrible.
On steroids. That's exactly what it is.
It's a giant
that sounds
room.
terrible.
Yeah.
It's really
somebody beat it within an hour.
Yeah, there's no there's if you die at any point, you start over from the beginning.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Oh.
Yeah, you can make it to wave 14 and die and start all over. So
fuck that. That sounds terrible.
We tried 5 or 6 times with my group of friends, and we went, no, we really just no.
Are the rewards good at least?
It's the gear set rewards.
You get like gear set stuff.
So it's the highest tier stuff, but
you have to run it over and over and over to get the whole set, though, right?
No, because you can buy gear set stuff or craft it yourself.
Oh, okay, all right. But still, I mean, they hype this. They hype these incursions up, and if all they're going to be is big ass fucking rooms with horde modes, and literally, like, I watched a video of it. It is a room, Brandon. It's just you don't ever leave the room.
I can kind of picture it in my head, and it just has a bunch of doors all across that enemies can spill out of.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I can picture it perfectly in my head.
I've never seen out of like a control room, and across the room from you, there's an APC up on a thing, and then there's elevated levels. It's basically you're in a giant. Consider yourself in a giant warehouse. With
I'm picturing it exactly in my head right now, and it sounds terrible.
And people apparently have been so disappointed in the incursion. They're like, this is not. You guys compared this to a fucking Destiny raid. Like this is.
So they had no post-release content plan. Not like Destiny had that 10-year plan. The Division, they're just like, fuck it, it's gonna sell a million.
Destiny had actual raids, like.
Well, and that's the thing, dude. Yeah.
World of Warcraft style raids with.
And you can
mobs, chests.
Yep.
Because they were banking on the Dark Zone, man. They were banking 100% on the Dark Zone.
And it failed.
They fucked it up. They fucked up the entire thing. That their
the
game
Dark Zone had like actual. bosses and not just world fights against named guys, that would be one thing. Where if you were actually fighting against real encounters instead of just respawning waves of elite enemies, that'd be one thing. But players and respawning enemies alone are not really the same thing. And the game relies so heavily on its crafting system, which again relies on.
That sounds like a Ubisoft game.
Yeah,
already.
it does. Yep.
And I think the crafting system also is crippled by the fact that you need the yellow division tech, which is you can only get it in 2 specific ways. Well, 3 technically. Chests that spawn in the dark zone, and you have a % chance to get it out of those chests.
Yeah.
Not even a guarantee. You have a chance to get it. You can also get it from high-end enemies that you can kill in the dark zone, and then you can also get it from completing daily objectives that they patched into the most recent thing.
So, the issue, people can criticize Destiny for a lot of things rightfully, but one thing you can't criticize it for is the raids. When the Vault of Glass came, it completely changed the game. That was a game changer for Destiny because it was. It had platforming sections. You needed actual teamwork. They had gameplay mechanics that were unique to that portion of the game, and people were like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!" Wow.
Double the player count allowed into those groups too. You was a larger scale encounter set.
Yeah.
You were using 6-player groups instead of the normal 3.
Well, you needed tactics. You needed to talk to each other.
Yeah.
With the incursions in the division, you don't need to talk to each other at all.
No.
And it's just, and I don't like. Ab, can you give us any kind of indication as to what the division is selling now, as opposed to when it was its first week?
It's dropped off pretty hard. It's not really. We're quite a ways out. It's pretty.
Okay,
standard.
yeah,
It's pretty standard drop off and it's not Call of Duty. So
yeah.
It's not Call of Duty and it's not Grand Theft Auto. So do not expect that sort of longevity behind it. So.
Do you guys think this game will have the legs that Destiny does?
Okay, look, it's not turned into Street Fighter. All right, that was for you, Brandon, because I knew you had the snark about Street Fighter, but
No, I don't care about fighting games.
No, I know, but I seem to remember you making some sort of snark about Street Fighter the other day. But
maybe I don't talk about fighting.
There's to be fair, there's a lot of people making snark about Street Fighter.
But that's the thing, is that it's basically dropped off the face. Street Fighter has largely seemed to have dropped off the face of the planet at this point. But
it dropped off the face of the planet within hours of release.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It's just
I actually traded it in, and I within 2 days, I after waiting 7 minutes to find a match, I was like, no, I'm done. I'm not gonna.
Bad, man. Street Fighter deserves better. Like I said, I don't care about fighting games, but man, Street Fighter is the fighting game.
And it's a shame because the mechanics in Street Fighter V are fucking on point. It is one of the most technically sound fighters I've ever played. But I pulled up my fucking phone and timed I timed how long it took to actually find a match. 7 minutes, and I was like, "Fuck this."
That is way too fucking long.
That's insanity. Yeah, no.
That's too long.
I wouldn't wait more than 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, after 3 minutes, the only reason I kept going, I was like, "How long could this possibly go?" And it was just a little over 7 minutes, and I was done. I was like, "Nope, I think I'm okay." And which sucks. And the thing that sucks is that I got the collector's edition, so I got that sweet Ryu statue, But yeah, it is what it is. But
you know what pre-orders are doing awesome? Final Fantasy 15s. And
good.
And No Man's Sky. Very impressed.
Okay. All right. Hey, Final Fantasy 15 needs to sell as many copies as it can, because I swear to God, if Square Enix goes out of business before they finish the Final Fantasy 7.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that.
No. I have no concerns. Square Enix is doing well. People seem to have all this doom and gloom, but their last fiscal report, they're like, we're actually doing really well, guys.
Yeah, I've seen that same thing.
I'm just joking. I know they're not going out of business, but I just mean
I agree.
4 or 5 years in the future.
I am right there with you, man. But
if their financials are going south,
well, let me clarify. The PS4 version is got plenty of pre-orders. The Xbox One is largely forgettable at this point.
So I mean, it's just
that's to be expected.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
happened with
surprised by
Final
that.
Fantasy 13. So.
well,
That franchise is really isn't associated with the Xbox, so
You know
I'm
what's
not surprised.
speaking of sales of games on PS4, what really has surprised me this month is Ratchet and Clank.
Well, great fucking game.
Like I can't speak for Best Buy,
$40.
obviously, but
That movie.
I mean it is the highest ranking game on Amazon for the month of April right now. And I'm not talking about the hourlies. I'm talking about the month. And I ultimately using Amazon as a kind of a meta for total game sales, and you shouldn't do that. But it's a cool indicator that the game is selling well. Ab, is there any insight you can give on what you're seeing?
Well, it was kind of muted at initial release. It's so it wasn't like there wasn't a lot of fanfare to it. Like their ad campaign was not really
which I don't fucking understand.
Well, I think it's kind of the fact that the movie comes out later this month. So
Yeah.
I think that it's more that they're building towards that.
Yeah,
Perhaps?
that's what I thought too.
So I think maybe that's what it is that they'd rather advertise as a major blowout for everything, because it's not really much of a loss for them to double advertise, because they can. They can be like, the movie's out, and so is the game, and they can double up that way. And they can also put advertisements in their movie trailer, like at the movie theater. They can be like, look, this movie that you're about to watch, the game is in the store. Go get it.
Yeah, it's probably going to be an Uncharted 4 trailer, though. You know that.
Probably.
Well, no, I mean, they can be like, look, you're here at this movie. This game is here. Go get it. This game is actually
You've
here.
seen the movie, now play the game.
Or, well, yeah, they can do that. I mean, I think they're hoping, I know our Sony rep said, like, hey, we're hoping that the movie will do well and people will really like it and it'll capture a new audience of younger people. And it is, I mean, it's definitely got the fact that it's a lower price title, and that pairs well with like things like the fact that it is with like the Gamers Club Unlocked that still does 20% off top of the fact that it's already a lower price title, so you get double effects for things like that. But I'm not sure. I mean, I look at individual stores and they didn't send out a ton of copies. It's not Call of Duty and that sort of thing, so overall volume isn't a ton, but I mean I'd like it to do well.
I should probably go get a copy soon then, shouldn't I?
I mean that's the thing, is that I assume that as it continues to do okay, I mean, dude, we've still got copies of Senran Kagura. It's not like it's going nowhere.
I bought that digitally.
Well, dude, I'm using it as an example. It's not like it's not going to be there. The game is still going to be around. It's not like Vita titles. They're not disappearing into the ether.
Savage.
Dude, I love my Vita. I've got my white Vita model right next to me here, and it makes me so sad that this thing bombed so hard.
I think the Vita might have been the worst video game purchase I've ever made, ever.
Dude, there's so many good games on it.
Dude,
Not that I give a shit about.
I've got a 64 gig memory card in mine right now, okay? I imported my 64 gig card from Japan because I filled my 32 gig, and that's
so many games. I mean, you can get Axiom Verge on Vita right now.
I have Axiom Verge on the
wonderful.
PS4. Whatever, it's just fine.
Brandon, you should see Debbie Downer. Anyway,
dude, I don't know what I bought a Vita for.
You bought it because Vita is life.
I bought it because I thought it was going to be the PSP too.
Yeah.
Mine is my portable JRPG machine, my portable PS1 machine, my portable PSP machine.
I only like JRPGs from the 90s.
Brandon's tastes are very specific.
Very.
Well, I mean, I carry around all of my PSP and PS1 and all that. I mean, I've got Final Fantasy 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got Final Fantasy Tactics. I've got Lunar. I've got Suikoden 1 and 2.
Yeah, I did not buy my Vita to play games I've already played before. That's just the bottom line.
Well, I've got Persona 4 Golden, Orishika.
I did give that a shot. I did not like it.
Dragon's Crown, Gravity
Dragon's
Rush.
Crown is fucking awesome.
I did play Dragon's Crown on my Vita. It was really good.
Valkyria Chronicles 2 was fantastic. Tales of Hearts R. Memories of Sokata. Muramasa Rebirth was fantastic.
I did play Muramasa, but I didn't really get into it.
Tokaiden, and then Tokaiden led to Kiwami, which I picked up on my PS4, which is awesome. I've got 140 hours into that.
Jesus.
Come on, man. Those hunting games when they're
I can't
actually good.
remember the last time I played a game for 100 hours that wasn't like a multiplayer online shooter.
Well, that I play it with friends. I mean, Tokaiden is a hunting style
That's
game,
true. It's Monster Hunter thing.
and I've got a group of people that we can actually play together. I've played it plenty, like the story stuff by myself, but I actually have friends that we can run around and hunt stuff together. So, but fucking Wipeout 2048. What a shame that series is gone.
I think Wipeout was the game that I played the most on my PSP. The launch Wipeout that they put out.
Killzone Mercenary was pretty solid. Amazing.
Mercenaries is good, yeah.
That it turned out.
I did play Killzone, yeah.
The best game on Vita is Lone Survivor Director's Cut. Period.
You like horror games, right?
I love horror games.
That's why you say that. I'm ambivalent, so I don't.
Lone Survivor is fucking fantastic. I platinum the shit out of that
Didn't
game
they
too.
just release Mega Man Legends or something recently?
Anniversary Collection.
I don't even want to hear about Mega Man until Mighty Number 9 comes out.
Oh, boy.
No, the Legends.
Oh yeah, the PS1 games. Yeah, Legends 1 and 2.
I didn't play those, but people were like, "Oh my god!"
I think they are some of the most overrated games ever.
When Darkest Dungeon comes out, that's going to get so much play on my Vita. Like, it's not even funny how much I'm going to play Darkest Dungeon when that comes out.
I have never understood the love for Mega Man Legends. I mean, I played it in the 90s when it was new. I don't know. All I have now is my poor nostalgic memories of it.
All you have now... You're so bitter.
I mean, it's like the worst 3D camera I think I'd ever seen at the time. Like, even when I was like 12 years old, I was like, this...
It's like Bubsy level shit. Like, it's pretty bad. I'll give you that. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up here because we're starting to get a little long in the tooth.
We're just rambling at
at this point, it's just meaningless bullshit. Which is always what this podcast evolves into.
Most of the time.
But I want to thank everybody in chat for hanging out, and of course, first Abdul, thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate it. It was really cool to have you on, man. You did some really interesting talk.
Oh, of course, it's always a pleasure to have people that can engage in excellent discourse. So glad to have a good conversation.
He said excellent discourse.
Yeah, I was going to say this is the first time we've ever actually had excellent discourse on this podcast. That's not something we engage in on a regular basis. Most time we just yell over each other.
What are you talking about?
And of course, Enrique, our friend at Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Why don't you give yourself a quick plug, man?
Yeah, thank you, John. So we're on every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's me, Alcoholocaust, and Eric Jackson, who's the senior writer over at EXL Gaming, and we just get together, just shoot the shit, talk video games. Don't do any of the fanboy stuff.
That's the best way to do a podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, no, we just don't. We just talk about games, and that's pretty much it.
Holocaust, the Lord of the Cat Gifts.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's the very same.
So Abdul, so Alcoholocaust is actually our chat mod. He's not here tonight to manage all these fucking crazy bastards in chat because he had to work late. But he also works as our fill-in. So whenever somebody can't make it, Alcoholocaust steps in, and he is now a permanent member of Enrique's Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. So he actually podcasts twice a week.
Awesome.
Al is a member of the podcast. We've had Shinobi on. Z-Huge comes on every month to give his NPD report.
Oh, okay.
So this place is full of Gaff legends, man. And now we can add you to our collection.
Ha 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 ha!
You're
I've
like
been collected.
You guys are like trophies. We put you up on a shelf.
Did you just make a PlayStation pun?
I did actually. I didn't mean to, but I did.
We just need to get Wario 64 and to drop some hot game deals. We'll be all set.
I met him. I met Wario at PSX last year.
Did you?
Yeah, he's funny. It was good times. At the PlayStation meetup at PSX, it was a really good time. I got to meet him, Nico. I met Xenophius, who basically led the meetup. It was a good time.
All right. Well, does anybody have anything else? Brandon, my sweet Gabe, do you have anything?
Nope, I'm good.
Gabe is such a Gabe Gabe doesn't say much, but when he does say something, you shut the fuck up and you listen. I feel like Gabe is so reserved that he only speaks when it really matters, But when he does say something, it's like you can hear a fucking pin drop in the room. So and I salute you for that, Gabe. I appreciate that. We love you, buddy. And of course, Abiel, thanks for coming on with us again. And Enrique, it's always a pleasure to speak to you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for having me on again, man. I appreciate it.
And for everybody in chat, thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. We will be back next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please retweet us on Twitter if you're on Twitter. Please let us know that you love us. Please help us spread the word about our podcast. And before we go, one of our fans on Twitter, Mike, wanted me to give him a shout out. So at the Mike Dip, if you're still watching after this fucking shit show that is the Super Deformed Gamescast, there's your shout out. We're happy to do it. We're gonna be doing a giveaway of Dark Souls 3 here really soon.
Nice.
Nice.
So stay tuned for that. The giveaway is coming probably next week. And after that, we may be doing a giveaway for Ratchet and Clank. So
can I win that?
No, you may not. No, you may not. You know you can't. So
I want that Ratchet and Clank, man.
Be on the lookout for that. And please comment, like, and subscribe to our channel if you have not done that already. And also do not forget to go subscribe to the Basement Radio Arcade podcast. Okay, until next week, guys. We will see you later. Thanks for stopping by.
See you.
Oh, and I almost forgot. It's not always poetry, and we don't always agree. But
thank you.
For real. I almost forgot, man.
It wouldn't be an episode without. We'd have to go back and re-record the whole thing.
It really would. The entire thing. The entire thing.
All right. Good night.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
See you guys.